Hello everyone, this is Mr. Elliott from New Beginnings Family Academy, Ms. Crowley's 6th grade class. In this video we're going to be going over part 2 of the lesson 13. The other video that's already online shows just part 1, and I'm just going to briefly go over that section there, what you see in front of me. This is also the same chart, the same ratio table that you've seen on part 1. It's the white sugar and the brown sugar table here. So we went over this in class. That's why all the numbers are already filled in the table. I'm just going to go over it really quick. Okay, we figured out that the ratio from white sugar to brown sugar was 1 to 3. All right, we figured out how we get from 1 to 3 here is by multiplying by 3. And we simply just follow that rule all the way down the rest of the table. So we have 2. How do we get from 2 to 6? Multiply by 3. And we're going to continue to do the same thing all the way down. That was pretty easy. Most of you in class were able to catch that. All right. And now we're simply also in class we figured out, okay, well, what do we do when we need to go in reverse? Okay, so we know what we need to do when we have white sugar and we need to figure out what was the brown sugar. All right, so let's say if we took this away, we didn't see that 6 was there. All right, we knew it was 2 times 3, and we obviously know that would be 6. Okay, if the 9 wasn't there, we continue to just follow the rule. 3 times 3, then obviously that means I need 9 cups of sugar, of brown sugar to the 3 cups of white sugar. All right, now this is where part 2 of what we went over in class today is ratio table to equations, actually taking this information we have and turning it into an equation so that we can figure out no matter what W, remember W is the white sugar, no matter what W is, I can find out immediately how many cups of brown sugar, the letter B, I'm going to need. So this is how we accomplish that. All right, so we know here again, this is just the same table that we have here. I just simply took out some of the numbers so we can put our equation that we come up with to the test. All right, so we have 1 to 3. All right, so I know what W is, and if I multiply it times 3, that will equal B, my cups of brown sugar. So if I know W, white sugar, I multiply that by 3, that gives me the cups of brown sugar I need. So right here we have both white sugar filled in, the brown sugar filled in already. Okay, so let's try it. Let's plug it in. So it says for white sugar I have 1 cup. So for W, all right, we'll put in the 1, multiply that times 3. That equals what? That's going to give me the 3. See that right there? All right, so my equation, it works. Okay. Now another way to write this, remember we talked about in class also, you see how I have W times 3 equals B? Well, that will be the same as if I wrote 3W equals B, right? Because when I have a variable or just a letter right next to the number, that automatically means multiplication. Okay? So this is the same as this. These are the same. Okay? So let's try our equation again. Let's put it to the test. Now, I have my W is 2. Okay, so I'm going to plug it into my equation here, right? So if W is 2, that means 3 times 2. I'm plugging in the 2. This is the information I know. This is the information B. This is the unknown. I want to know how many cups of brown sugar that will be. 3 times 2 equals 6. Okay, so I know 6 cups of brown sugar is needed. Again, what we already see here. Again, we're simply using this table, the same table here, to just show the effectiveness of our equation. All right, now we're going to go backwards. Let's say we know what the brown cups of sugar are. Well, we know how many cups of brown sugar we have now, and this portion of the table is 9. Now this is the unknown. Okay, well, how can we use this same equation? Well, I know if there's 9 cups of brown sugar, okay, so the B is 9. All right, let me separate this here. Or actually, we can erase this. So I know B is 9, okay? I don't know what W is, but I know it's going to be multiplied by 3 equals B. So I have the same formula. Actually, let me just make it 3W, just so it looks the same here as our equation with the way we had it. 3W equals 9. Okay? So now I'm going to simply divide by 3. To get from brown sugar to the white sugar, I have to divide by 3. When I was given the white sugar amount and I needed to get to the amounts of brown sugar, I had to multiply. Okay? But how do you make 6 get to 2? If I only knew the brown sugar, let's say in this portion of my table, and let's say this wasn't here, and I didn't know that, how would I have made 6 become that 2? I would have had to divide. I'd have to do the opposite. The value of the table is still 3, but now I simply have to divide by 3 in order to get from this side of my table here. If I have this information, I need to get this information. I'm dividing now. Okay? Just seen right here in our equation. So when I divide by 3 here, those are going to cancel out, right? Because 3 divided by 3, they both cancel each other out. And now I'm just left with W. I'm bringing down the equal sign. Okay? 9 divided by 3. If I divide by 3 over here, I got to do the same thing on this side. 9 divided by 3 is what? 3. So for this portion of my table, we plugged in the 9 for B. And we figured out it would be 3 cups of white sugar. Again, remember, we're piggybacking off of this equation. I'm just going to write it over here so we can have it closer. So now I have the white cups of sugar. I have how many, I have the amount of cups of white sugar. Here is 4, that's given to me. Okay, so I'm going to plug that 4 into my equation. So that's going to be 3 times W. What's the W? It's 4. That equals my unknown here. That equals B. Using my equation again. 3 times 4 is what? 12. 12 equals B. Plugging it right in. You see how it's the same information we have over here, the table we already filled in. See how our equation works? Okay. Now, let's figure out the last one. Again, we already have the answer here, right? We see it already filled in, but we want to get into the habit of using the equation now to help us solve these. So now I know that B is 15. Well, let me plug in the information I know. Let me plug it into my equation again. So I'm going to bring down the 3W, right? Because I don't know what W is. Okay, so 3W equals B. Do I know what B is? Yep, this is my B column, right? B is 15. Okay, so now I need to figure out what W is though. So how do this is 3 times W, this is multiplication here. What am I going to do to this multiplication here to get this W by itself, right? I'm going to do the opposite of multiplication. That's going to be division. I'm simply dividing by 3 because I want to get rid of that 3 next to this W. And if I divide by 3 on this side, I got to also divide by what on this side? I'm going to have to divide by 3 also on this side. So now I have the W all alone now because the 3's canceled out. Bring down my equal sign. 15 divided by 3 is 5. W equals 5. Same exact thing we got right here. Okay? Tonight, on Tuesday, October 18th. So for those of you who watched the video, you at least get the answers as I go over the problems for 1 and 2. As you see on the board here. So for number 1, let's see. It says for each pound there are 16 ounces. This can be expressed using the equation y times 16 equals z. That's our equation that we're going to use, where y is equal to the number of pounds and z is equal to the number of ounces. That's what we have here. And this is just me breaking down the information that the word problem gives us. Using this equation here, we need to find the total ounces in 10 pounds. So how many ounces are in 10 pounds if I know 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces? So I'm going to use this equation here. So what did it say y represents? Y is the number of pounds. Okay, so my question wants to know how many ounces are in 10 pounds. So 10 pounds is what I know. So do I know what y is? Do I know what number of pounds are? Yes, I do. It's 10. So 10, I'm going to plug that in for y. Bring down the multiplication sign. Bring down the 16. That equals z. What is z? Total number of ounces. That's exactly what my question is asking me for. So I'm simply going to do the multiplication. 10 times 16 is what? 160 equals z. Total number of ounces. There are 160 total number of ounces in 10 pounds. That is number 1. Moving on to number 2. Every kilometer is 1,000 meters. This can be expressed using the equation y times 1,000, equation here, equals z, where y is equal to the number of kilometers. So y equals the number of kilometers, and z is equal to the total number of meters. Z equals total number of meters. Using the equation, find the total meters in 2 kilometers. So I need to find out the total number of meters in 2 kilometers. So I'm going to use this equation just like how I did in number 1, and I'm going to enter in the equation the things that I do know. So I have, for my equation, I have y and I have z. Okay, so let's see if I can plug in y. Do I know what y is? Y represents what? Number of kilometers. Did my problem tell me what the number of kilometers are? The question they're asking me, yes, they told me there's 2 kilometers. So I'm going to put that in for y. So replace the y with the 2. Bring down the multiplication symbol here. Bring down the 1,000. Right? Equals z. Z is the total number of meters. So that's what the question's asking. How many total meters are in these 2 kilometers? That's y. That's the letter y. Okay, I'm simply going to do the math then. What's 2 times 1,000? That's 2,000. Z equals 2,000. What is z? Total number of meters. How many total meters are in 2,000 kilometers? There are 2,000 meters in 2 kilometers.